Hey everybody, I'm CJ, and once again, Warren Ellis is in hot water. And not even because he's done anything new that's in bad taste, you understand, but because with the SJW mob, it's never enough. You've never apologized enough, repented enough, or suffered enough, or anything else. They are never satisfied. And, as always, with SJWs, there's no need to bring actual law enforcement authorities into this because they've already made up their minds, so don't confuse them with the facts. In fact, SJWs are kind of notorious for leaving law enforcement out of what should theoretically be a fairly easy thing to prosecute. They always claim that they're receiving threats or abuse or doxing and all that stuff, but they never really show evidence. They never seem to call the police. They just shit talk people into sometimes literal oblivion. Now, compare that to how rational adults behave when they're objectively wronged. As an example, not too long ago, maybe it's better not to name names. Not too long ago, there was an industry, a comic book industry pro, who was accused of embezzling money from Bill Willingham, the writer of Fables and bunches of other stuff. And it looks like when Bill Willingham began to suspect that this comic book pro was embezzling from him, he immediately went to the police. As far as I know, and I could be wrong, some kind of investigation took place or has taken place or is taking place or whatever. This whole thing is serious enough that when the industry pro in question found out that she was suspected of embezzlement, it looks like the first thing that she did was move to Canada. So basically, we've got the suspicion of wrongdoing. And who even knows what actually happened here? I mean, it could be nothing, could be something. I have no idea, and I'm not saying one way or the other. Either way, a report was filed with law enforcement authorities, and some kind of an investigation has taken place, or at least it was launched. Some kind of an investigation was launched. Everything about this looks like it's being done on the up and up. I have no idea what did or didn't happen with this incident or these incidents or whatever involving Bill Willingham. And that's why I'm not naming the alleged thief. There could be a lot going on here that we don't know about. My point is some kind of action was being taken by actual law enforcement authorities, and it looks like it's been done pretty much with transparency. Now, more details about what I'm talking about here are just one Google search away for anybody interested in this. My point is that this is the way that grown-ups handle their problems. When a crime might have been committed or when the law might have been broken or whatever, rational, mature, responsible adults call the authorities. But that's not what's going on with Warren Ellis. As far as I can tell, and again, this is all stuff that people are saying, who knows what's true and what isn't. But as far as I can tell, the way that it looks is that Warren Ellis scrogged a bunch of groupies. The groupies were probably hoping for career advancement in comics. Career advancement in comics was not forthcoming, and so now they're mad because reasons. And instead of trying to advance their careers through honest means, these groupies have semi-publicly lashed out at Ellis, saying just enough to damage his reputation, while rarely providing specifics as to actual misconduct on his part. As far as I know, nobody's accused Warren Ellis of breaking the law. I haven't heard anything like that. Nobody's accused him of some kind of assault or crime. It doesn't seem like anybody's filed a report with law enforcement authorities. Instead, Warren Ellis's name is getting dragged through the mud, and he's being forced to answer vague allegations made by largely invisible and unaccountable accusers, and the process is being carried out online under the presumption of Ellis's guilt. Rather than stay above the fray, which probably would have been the smart thing to do, rather than do the smart thing, Image Comics has gotten off the bench and they've basically fanned the flames of Ellis's trial-free prosecution, and in so doing, they've pretty much escalated something that was already kind of a shit show to begin with into an actual problem. Now, write this part down, guys. I am no attorney, but I think Ellis should seriously consider contacting his legal representation about the announcement that was made by Image Comics. Please look at your screen. It's up there right now. That's what they said. That is Image Comics' collective statement on this matter. And the way it appears to me, this is just my opinion, you understand, it looks to me like all Image Comics has done is make a bad situation even worse. Now, there's nothing you can say that is so well said or so logical or so self-evident that some dumb son of a bitch can't come along and completely misunderstand what you're saying. So there is a sense in which making any kind of a disclaimer at all is sort of a waste of time. Nevertheless, here's the disclaimer. I'm not defending or for that matter, condemning Warren Ellis. I've only read a few of his comics, and his successes or failures, personal and public, they really mean nothing to me. But if the guy has broken the law, charges need to be filed, a case needs to be prosecuted, and a fair trial needs to be held. But if all he's guilty of doing is hitting it and quitting it with some groupies, I mean, what the fuck? Let it go. It's kind of a prick thing to do. I'm going to be honest about that, but at least in my opinion. But it sounds like all parties involved consented and nobody forced himself on anybody else. And in publicly siding against Warren Ellis, which is how most of us are interpreting this statement from Image Comics, it's completely possible that an already bad situation has been made worse, and maybe there's no hope at all at this point for Ellis to get fair treatment here. And worst of all, the Image Comics executives are some of the biggest names in comics. All right, even now. All right, and so I guess my question is, are they really foolish enough to think that they're somehow magically fucking protected from the wrath of the SJW mob? Because, guys, look, think about the founders of Image, all right? A lot of them are multi-millionaires who are deeply respected in the industry to this day. Here's the thing. Warren Ellis was a deeply respected multi-millionaire creator as well, and his wealth and his reputation did nothing to protect him. They did nothing to grant him the presumption of innocence. They did nothing to give him a chance at fair treatment here. So all of this is kind of like a roundabout way of saying, why would anybody from Image think that the SJW mob won't come looking for them at some point? Who's to say that they won't? And here's the thing with SJWs, like I said before, it's never enough. It doesn't matter how unemployable they've made you. It doesn't matter how long out of work they've made you. It doesn't matter how desperate you are to support your family that they have made you, or how dark your thoughts might be of ending it all that they have made you, and all that. If you somehow end up on their radar, there's no limit to how far they'll go. It is never enough. And all the sellouts at Image have done is make certain that Warren Ellis has no possible way to settle this in a reasonable way while paving the way for one of their own, somebody high up at Image Comics, to eventually get tarred and feathered. Or, since we're talking about SJWs, perhaps more likely drawn and quartered. And in the process, I am not an attorney, but Ellis might have a case against Image Comics now, so hope it was worth it, guys. Anyway, that's that. Thank you for watching. Subscribe, make sure you're still subscribed, comment, like, and share this video because it really helps me out. Also, you can find me on Twitter at Cole Loves Comics.